I'm Lia Chang. Welcome to this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. On today's episode, I'll be talking with Hyunmin Rhee, who is starring as Quang in Qui Nguyen's Vietgone at the Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park.
Hey everybody, my name is Hyunmin Rhee. I'll be playing the role of Quang in the upcoming production of Vietgone at the Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park. It'll be running from April 27th to June 2nd because Qui will be there in the room with us. Joanie Schultz will be directing.
YELLA REDNECKS is the sequel to Vietgone, and I got to see you do Vietgone at the Guthrie. Now, you went ahead and did YELLA REDNECKS in San Francisco. What was it like for you to do the role in New York?
New York is a whole different vibe. I'm super grateful because Guthrie and ACT, I mean, that's just humbling to have those two prominent regional theaters in my resume. And super classy, both very respectively. But New York, I mean, this is my home. This is where my wife and my daughter are. So having done it here and doing this universal immigration assimilation story of an Asian American family here in New York City, where I came from Korea, it was super meaningful and different in that sense. And then in terms of the script and the process, I understudied Quang this time around, and I had the fortune of going on as Quang. He rewrote like half of the script, so even though embodiment of the character was there, I still needed to like dive in, and it helped me to really explore different aspects of the character that I wasn't able to with this new rendition of the work that Kui has put out. So.
Okay. And what was it like for your family to see you in this universal immigration story?
They saw it for the first time at the Guthrie. All of them, my parents and my in-laws and my wife. It brought out all of these things that we didn't have the chance to talk about because we were so head first in this, process of getting used to living in America, right? My parents working at, my dad working at a dry cleaners, or my mom working at a nail salon when they came here because there was no other opportunities for them, as opposed to the jobs that they had in Korea.
Which were?
My dad worked for Daewoo, an auto company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And my mom worked for Samsung. So it's a completely different lifestyle, and they made that decision to come here with me and my grandma. And so we were just kind of like that quintessential Asian American family, just working constantly, moving constantly, driving. And so we didn't really get a chance to really sit back and talk about our experience. And then
You were just life. It was just life.
It was just
happening.
life happening. And then they saw Vietgone at the Guthrie. Different times. My parents came for opening, and my in-laws came afterwards, and it really, opened up different perspectives and perspectives that we were aware of, but we weren't aware of because we were all so busy with our lives. And so that was very meaningful for me. Just the fact that we were able to sit after doing that show with my family and just talking about how their process of assimilation was like, right? My dad served in the military in Korea. He met a friend there. And ever since then, ever since serving together in the military, their relationships just continued. His friend moved to Stamford, Connecticut. And when my parents decided it's time for us to move to America, he reached out to that friend who was living at Stamford at that time, and he brought us in, until we were able to get on our feet. Yes.
What was it like for you to move here at the age of 9?
I think I was so young.
You just did whatever your
I
parents
just did
told
whatever
you?
my parents told me, and then as I grew older, I started to build this resentment towards them. But then just looking back, I mean, I've kind of dealt with that with having spoken directly with my parents, because you just got to go back and it's therapeutic when you communicate. When I communicate with my parents about how I felt back then, and they understand and acknowledge where I'm coming from, it like puts all of us, I feel like, in a better place.
Right.
But I was building that resentment as I was getting older, because I kept getting made fun of for not being able to speak English. You know, like young Qui, right? There's that mirror image of that experience, but I can't help but to think about how my grandma must have felt. She was in her early 80s when she had to let go of everything and to move to this country to just be able to continue to raise me here in America. Again, mirror image of what we see in PYR.
The whole grandma segment's just weeping.
Yeah.
Weeping. Just weeping.
I think it's one of the most powerful scenes you can witness in live theater, in my opinion. Yeah.
I agree. And what excites you most about being able to reprise the role?
I love this role.
You're so good in it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to gush.
Yeah. Thank you, Leah. It means a lot. It really does. But it's a dream role for any Asian American actors out there. But what's more meaningful is that Qui will be there. Qui will be.
Oh, he's coming.
Yeah.
How wonderful.
He actually lives there with his family in Cincinnati.
Oh.
Yeah, his wife is the executive director of the Playhouse.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's kind of sense, quote unquote, it's not Arkansas per se, but that's his like home that he lives, you know, going back and forth LA obviously, but Cincinnati's where his wife and his 2 kids are.
That's his home base.
That's his home base.
You had an amazing 2-year run of very diverse roles across the country. Why don't we just hit each one of the characters and what that particular show meant to you?
Yeah. I think the first role that I ever did in this 2 to 2.5 year process was Emperor's Nightingale at Pan Asian Rep, and that was during the time of like, we're at the heat of the pandemic still. And Tisa Chang, I'm super grateful for her. I am. And Chong Ren. Tisa, she really believed in me when no one else did, you know, at the start of my career. And, you know, I'm sure Pan Asian or like Natco or Mai, they have their like group of Asian American artists that they like to, you know, hire and go with. And I didn't really have that. And so Tisa really put me out there on the map. And I'm super grateful for that. And she still believes in me. And Chong Ren gave me that opportunity to do Emperor's Nightingale. It's like a kid show that we did at Theater Row. I had a blast. And then that kicked off my relationship with Chong Ren and brought me to Arkansas and Theater Square to do Albert in Tiger Style.
Those pictures were crazy.
I know. The set.
What are you jumping?
Jumping off the table. Yeah. It was a small space that we took up, but we definitely took up that space. And we told that story in Fayetteville, Arkansas, of all places, and it was well received. But that character for me, Albert's character, was, you know, I had to work hard. I had to dig deep. I am not that Asian where I was like heavy into education. Clearly, because
you're an actor.
An actor/dancer. No, not even that. It's just, you know, I just kind of like, that wasn't who I was growing up, and so I had to really dig deep and study this character and really do my best to truthfully, in the most honest way, embody this character. So that took a little bit of time, and then we went to Westport Country Playhouse, where I met you, to do the role of Jung, directed by Nelson Eusebio.
In Kim's Convenience.
In Kim's Convenience, yeah.
And you say that that's actually one of the roles that you relate to the most.
Absolutely.
Because?
Because that's who I am. That's Jung, and everything that he's dealing with in regards to the hardships with his dad, even his mom, just growing up in that quintessential immigrant family, whether it's owning a convenience store or a nail salon. Like, the family dynamic, it's very similar, and just the trials and the tribulations that he faced are literally what I had to face growing up. And so that's probably the most meaningful character that I've played thus far. Yes. And yet, to touch upon an Asian classic of Vietgone there is new, and for me to be able to play an iconic role in Quang there at that time was incredible. And Mina Morita, who directed us,
And a really good, fabulous woman to have in your corner.
Absolutely. She gives me the utmost confidence, like you do. She gives me the utmost confidence when I don't feel confident. She told us from the onset, like, hey, don't be intimidated by this organization.
Okay.
You guys are
You were
bigger.
empowered.
Yeah. You are bigger.
Okay.
And let's do this. Let's share this story. And from that point forward, I mean, we were just rolling. And yeah, that was a hell of an experience for me. San Francisco, from the very moment I stepped into the rehearsal space, everybody from ACT came out. Regardless of which department you were in, they all came into the rehearsal space, and we all introduced ourselves.
Okay.
And they created a family vibe. Like, hey, thank you for being here. Thank you for telling the story. We are here with you, regardless of how busy we may be doing our respective work. We're here for you, and that's what I felt from the very, very first day of rehearsal, and I felt family, and I told them that. And from then on, Vietgone, Guthrie will always be my first family. San Francisco is that family, a different sense of family where, this is like, how do I explain it? Like, yeah, I mean, they're all family. They're all family, but there was such warmth from even outside of the cast, and that's what I appreciated. And we are gonna tell an honest, thought-provoking immigration story. We're going to continue this legacy that Vietgone has already been placed here in the map of theater. But yeah, we're going to do our best, and we're going to kill it. We're going to rap. We're going to dance. We're going to act our asses off. Excuse my language. But yeah, come through if you're able. I appreciate you.
Thank you for joining me for this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. Until next time.